Maybe it's the helmet, maybe it's the fact that I look like a 10-year-old out of school, but there's something about a push scooter that is just fundamentally more geeky than a boosted board. Hello, hello.
Montréal avec notre ami.
Mon barbier ou l'endroit où je vais normalement c'est fermé, donc je pense que mon petit afro ça prend un petit coup.
Oh, ça prend une coupe.
Ok, j'y vais.
Bienvenue chez Barbier Albanese.
Merci beaucoup.
Bah oui, rentrez.
Ça prendra combien de minutes à peu près pour couper les cheveux?
À peu près 15 minutes.
Ok, c'est bon. Ok. Something like that, like a fade on the side. Yeah, please. And then nothing that involves any form of maintenance after it's done. Now he's got the straight blade, so I'm gonna let him concentrate.
Bon appétit, David.
See that? Et ça formidable.
Sure.
Bonne
journée, David.
Bonne journée.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, this is beautiful. I can feel the cold air on my scalp. Oh, okay. Helmet. Oh. All right. We're off. Okay, there's some problems with scooting in the rain. Should have taken the car. Montreal doesn't have that many active vloggers. Bonjour. So, somebody talking to a camera while push scooting down Green Avenue still gets some looks. Okay, give him to me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. What are you crying about? We gotta run. Got a meeting with some clients this morning, so it seems like it's the perfect time for another installment of Life of Lawyer. Okay, so the meeting just got pushed back a little bit, which gives me some breathing room because we were cutting it close. I haven't eaten breakfast, and the kid was having a mild meltdown. Oh, who's that? I can't answer that. This is going to be a law vlog, but as always, it's going to relate to life and things I've learned for my life from the legal practice. There is a citation from a 1990 Court of Appeals decision that every Quebec lawyer knows or should know, and it goes something to the effect of La procédure doit être non la maîtresse, mais la servante de la justice. Translating literally into procedure is not supposed to be the master, but the servant of justice. Meaning, justice is never supposed to be denied because procedure may not have been followed. For a lawyer or an aspiring lawyer to say that they don't like procedure is like a chef or an aspiring chef saying they don't care about plating. The reality is you could cook the most delicious dish in the world, but if it looks like garbage, it's going to affect the way people taste it. And more importantly, if it looks like garbage, people might not eat it to begin with to even know how delicious it is. Delicious it is. You okay? It's like saying you want to be a doctor, but you're not interested in surgery protocol. You could be the most talented surgeon in the world, but if you leave scalpel inside the patient, guess what? Your surgery is going to go to waste. Hey, Canada Post, eh? Procedure in law, for anybody who's not familiar with it, can seem excessive and totally unreasonable. Procedure includes things like font size, referencing formats, square brackets versus round brackets, borders on paper, the size of the paper, the color of the paper. Some people maybe rightly think that it's set up by the system to ensure that lawyers retain the monopoly in legal representation because it's so complicated, the layperson has no chance of knowing how to follow it to a T. And it's the fine line between no regulation and over-regulation. You don't want people writing in size 17 font. You don't want people writing in size 6 font so they can get more words on a page. I'm not saying this tongue-in-cheek or facetiously. Some of the judges are relatively old. They can't read font that's too small. So you need to ensure that it's not the Wild West, but at the same time, you don't want to make it so rigorous that it cripples people's ability to actually use the system usefully for the purposes for which it was intended. Why is the car not starting? No key detected. And we may not be going anywhere fast. Problem. The battery in the key seems to be dead. Come on. Come on, man. See, this is good. Technology is great except for when it doesn't work. Technology has gotten so great we no longer have keys, we just have fobs. The only problem is when the battery on the fob is dead, the car doesn't start, and there's no key to actually start the ignition manually. Oh geez. Oh geez. Stop it. Okay, good. And? It's alive!
Okay, I don't want to mischaracterize procedure in law. It's not all shirt color, font size, or whether or not you have 3/4 margins versus 1-inch margins. There is substantive procedure, like how many days notice do you need to give in a subpoena. You can't just serve a subpoena on someone the night before and say you got to be in court tomorrow. You have to give them 10 days. You have to know that you have to give them 10 days. How do you serve a lawsuit? You can't just slip it through someone's mailbox. There are rules. It's not substance of law, but it's substance of procedure that is sufficiently important that it borders on the actual substance of law. If someone's being sued, they need to be properly served so they know that they're being sued so they can get a lawyer to defend themselves. Not substance, but procedure. Interesting note of procedure. In Quebec, it's only been in the last 2 years that we've been authorized to serve things by email. Before that, it was either fax or bailiff. Crazy. Sometimes procedure is a little bit behind the times.
So what's the takeaway from this, and how does it actually apply to non-lawyers? Well, first of all, for lawyers, know your procedure and know it well. Because if you don't know procedure, you could be the smartest lawyer in the substance of law, but you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna be able to be exploited by opposing counsel. If you're one of those lawyers, knowing procedure can allow you to absolutely exploit the opposing party. You can exploit their ignorance, you can intimidate them through knowledge. Know your procedure and know it well. For the non-lawyers, the reality in life is that there is substance and there is form, and unfortunately, if you're all one or all the other, it can be a problem. I am definitely more substance over form kind of person, but you can be the most substantive person in the world, and if your form is unpleasant, if your form is uncouth, if your form is tacky, you're not going to get the substance received. The shape of water. Nothing to the plot, nothing to the story. A woman randomly falls in love with a fish that looks like the Swamp Thing. It has no personality, and we don't find out why they're in love at all. But the style is amazing, the music is beautiful, the scenery is beautiful, but ultimately the plot line is a little vapid. Form over substance. The flip side, Brotherhood of the Wolf. If you haven't seen it, see it. It takes place in the 1700s. It's a mysterious movie about a monster that ravages a medieval town. It's amazing. The form is there, but the substance is killer. No pun intended. Have you ever noticed how in the FedEx sign there's an arrow between the E and the X? A forward-pointing arrow? Oh my goodness! But the form over the substance can also impact your ability to get what it is that you want. You can ask the same question substantively in two different forms and get two different answers, because one can put the subject in a defensive mode, the other one can make the subject feel comfortable and willing to offer the information that you want. This is an important tool for cross-examination. The same question posed differently will get a different answer in different circumstances. Hey, hey. How you doing?
All right.
Rafi, does packaging impact the way you taste something? That's a yes. What was the purpose of that shot? Totally useless from a substance perspective, but pretty cool from a style perspective, so maybe it caught your attention or kept you captivated a little more. The takeaway, other than the beautiful Montreal backdrop, is that procedure and substance are important in law and in life. One of my personal flaws is that I am more substance over form, both in law and in life, possibly to my detriment. But the reality is that if you're dressed in torn jeans and a dirty shirt, you're gonna get a different reaction for saying the same thing than if you have a nice haircut and a nice suit. Which is why I tend to show up to client meetings in a suit as opposed to in my jeans and standard shirt. In law and in life, you can't be all form and you can't be all substance. You have to be a fine balance between the two. You can't neglect one for the other because it will have an impact on what you're trying to achieve. On that note, this vlog is over. Peace out. Yeah, I actually said this vlog was over, but I forgot I have the hardest part left to do, which is get back down that ladder. For those of you who don't know, I am morbidly scared of heights. And this is why. Okay. Yeah, it's a good way to ruin a suit. The hard part is over. And now, back to work.